Yeah, bro, quick story. So I seen this video and I was like, this old Korean guy was trying to just give his coat to this homeless guy sleeping on the ground. Tutus. He puts a coat on him. The man just drapes him up, pulls him down, starts beating on him, steals his wallet. Then the Korean guy starts chasing after him, and he just beats him some more, and then he runs off with the coat and his wallet, just leaving the man in shambles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it happens out here. You know what I mean? So just think twice. Sometimes when you hear people who are talking, not necessarily on the most positive note, maybe they encounter an experience like that one. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
if that man start cussing out homeless people for the rest of his life.
No, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that
there's a reason.
If I could understand a different perspective, if you had to go through such scenario, you know what I mean? It's a different scenario. Like, you're offering something off the clothes off your back, my guy.
Yeah.
To keep this guy warm who has nothing, and he takes more from me and beats me. That's crazy, fam.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of wild. You know, when you think about it, it's like he was literally just trying to do something, good.
Not representing the community properly.
Yeah, like, and the thing about it,
the
too,
homeless
is that,
community.
like, like the homeless community, because it's like, not every homeless person who you see, like, is like that. A lot of them deal with like a lot of like mental health issues on like with that. Like, with that being said, it's like, what's up?
No, I was saying it's funny because we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and we're talking about how homeless people in like New York, they're out here living luxurious lifestyles on your dime,
on your money, and it's just like there's that aspect, but then there's also homeless people who are like dealing with mental health who don't even understand that like there's certain things and certain resources that are out there for them to like level up. You feel me? And then some people who've gotten used to the street life for so long, living on the street, that like sleeping in a bed just doesn't seem comfortable to them anymore, type of thing.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like that's
great. Yeah.
That's crazy. You feel me? There's that side, and then there's people who are the other side of someone who's just being ungrateful. Like somebody's giving you something, and then now you're like, boom, like I'm gonna just overpower you and steal and take your stuff too. It's like, like why, fam? Like, are you gonna be a millionaire now? Are you gonna be able to access everything now? Like are you off the streets?
Nope.
Like you're probably still gonna be on the streets after stealing his stuff, and
you might be
caught
in jail.
on camera. So you're getting locked up.
You might be upgrading.
Technically, yeah, you just went from homeless. Now, if you do end up going to jail, you're getting food, you're getting
3
fed.
square meals a day.
Some people do that. Some people like commit crimes just to end up in prison. Now that I'm thinking about the video though, like, was it a setup? Because I'm thinking like,
you think they set up the old man?
Like the homeless guy.
Yeah.
Cause bro, the way soon as he put the coat on him, it was like a reaction, like boom, like kind of like prey, kind of. You know what I mean? Cause
right away.
Cause I'm like right away, like fam, if you're sleeping on the ground, right, and you feel a blanket, and then like you just wake up, like drag a person to the ground, like beat them up, like take their wallet, like that's not an instinct, man. Like
well, it could be because you're on the street, so that could be a straight survival thing, yo. It could literally be like
to reach in a man's pocket and beat him down.
No,
and
it could because he could see it as like he's in a position that like he could overtake him. Like that's something about being on the streets is like realizing that like seeing how you are and being aware of what you can do, and if like what you could do is capable of like, making you like how would I say it? Like
improve?
Adds to your strategies to survival.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so your reflexes and everything you do is you're always gonna be on edge about something. So like I could understand like him reacting to like that, and then like but like punching and then stealing that point. That's when I was kind of like, all right,
I could understand like being like awakened randomly, but like what if once you realize like it's an actual code, you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, you know what I mean? And then let me stop hitting this guy. Let me not reach in deep into his couple pockets, and then
for him it was like I think it was kind of I understand.
And then to run back and pick the code up, which he actually tried to just give you and then like run away.
Mm-hmm.
Could have just asked, like, yo, you spare me $10. He might have slapped you a 10 too, you know.
You know, if he's giving you the coat off his back, I'm sure he could give you a little bit of bread.
Bro, like, come on. Like, yeah, like, if the man's giving you a coat, like, you could just ask for a little, you know, ask for a little something. Like, I'm pretty sure he'll bless you, but.
Could have, but.
It's a cold world, bro. Doggy.org, for real. It's a cold world. Trying to survive.
That's how it is.
You know, I was actually. Good, that happens.
No, I was gonna say this one, the topic we just talked about, it kind of reminded me of the shit that was going on in New York. There was an old man, not an old man, was it a black dude? But some dude shoved a young girl in front of a train, like in the subway station.
She didn't die, lie?
She did.
She did.
She did die. They said there was one earlier where the person didn't die, but this one died.
Is it a black guy?
I think it was a black dude. I swear it was a black dude. A
black girl?
No, I think it was a white girl. But then he cut. He didn't get caught. Then he pulled up again, and then tried to shove another person, but wasn't successful.
For real?
Yeah. But
at that point, yo, you just gotta lock him up, yo. He wants to go to jail. You feel me? I think he's looking for 3 meals a day.
But I was saying that. No, not even what I was saying. But when he was taken to jail, people were asking him why he did it, and I think he was screaming like, "'Cause I'm a god." Because I'm a god, da 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 da. Right?
That might point a little bit to like some mental health aspect or something.
Yeah, but
not necessarily, but like it could leeway.
No, I agree. It's probably mental health, but at the same time, even if it's mental health, there's only so much like people can handle.
Yeah, it still doesn't take away from the fact that you took like a life.
Yeah,
it doesn't. You know what I mean?
It's like mental health is always kind of tricky for me.
Super tricky.
Because in one instance, you want to appreciate that people are going through things, and you understand that not everyone's different, and people are going through their struggles, and sometimes they need help, whether like clinical help or help from family or stuff like that, and you want to respect that. But at the same time, it sometimes feels that some people are finessing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I mean, there's been trials and stuff where like it's been proven that like certain people are like, yo, like they play the whole mental health aspect as like a defense and then end up getting away with the crime that they committed, right? Mm-hmm. There's been that in law, but there's also been people who are like actually like have mental like problems but are not dealt with accordingly and that are tossed into general population with other people who are not dealing with mental health problems. Right, so it's kind of weird. It's kind of like, yo, like, and it just kind of messes it up for those people. You feel me? Like, if you actually have a problem, like, mentally, you know, like, and then somebody else who doesn't have an actual problem, like, mental problem, but they're using that as a defense, it messes up for you, because you're like, bro, like, I'm actually dealing with something. This guy's not, but, like, then it goes down to, like, you know, your defense attorney and how well, you know.
So I feel like it all goes down to, like, perspective of, on a scale, how serious the problem is, because you might look at a shorty, we all seen it before, breaking down, snotty nose because she didn't get her extra 2% on her exam, and she already has a 97, right?
Yep.
And her world just melting before her eyes. She's seeing her Ivy League scholarships like drip, like fall apart, and then you might be like, yo, like, you know, and she might be diagnosed with severe anxiety, and you're looking at it like, these are the problems that, like, you're really, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, you might even be going through something way worse, and you're just like, I'm calm, like, I'm holding it down. So I feel like it depends a little bit too on how you see it, and then it kind of falls into, when we don't agree, people kind of fall into the slot of like the perception of a kind of a faker in a sense, you know what I mean? Because you're like, that's not real problems, like, you're faking that, like,
or
that's
if
not
you've gone through the problem yourself and you dealt with it easy, and like, yo, what do you mean you have a rolled ankle? Come on, man, you can play on that shit
100%.
Even though his rolled ankle might be a fracture, or even if it's a rolled ankle, he just doesn't have the same pain tolerance, right?
Even just
he's not as strong. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Or like he doesn't have the strong, like he doesn't have as much strength in his legs as you do, and so him hurting his ankle puts him like at an even greater disadvantage. Yeah, because you're already starting off from a strong point and he's starting off from a weak point. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other factors that play into it.
But the thing is, I think we know that, and at the point that it happens, sometimes we just don't care, because sometimes it's like, yo, I understand you have issues, But at this point, I'm so annoyed. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're going through some shit. Like, who cares?
To me, it doesn't. It's not even like I personally. I don't even get annoyed. Like, it's more like I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care about people's mental health, and like, I hope no one tries to.
No. That's not what.
But to me, like, when you go through like football or sports at a higher level or whatever it is, and the types of like adversities you have to go through, like this person cries because they didn't get their 97, you know. I'm chasing my dream and like I'm four niggas behind, like, you know what I mean. I only have 4 years here, you know what I mean. Opportunities coming and going. You're seeing your best dogs, you know what I mean. Your same guy you do everything with, you grind everything with, isn't even making the dress roster list. You know what I mean? You're seeing mans go through their own depressions. You see them in the locker room just like buckling up another day, like practice roster, 7th string running back. Like,
tired.
I'm just here, bro. You know what I mean? Holding the pad for fucking again. I'm not, yo, mute that part. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, bro, but you come back every single day, and then every day you still hopes, you know, and some people actually do elevate, like, yo, Toon, like, you're like the perfect example of like, if I ever tell my like a kid's like a come up story or whatever, it would be like earned, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nothing given, like
You
strictly
put work
earned.
in, and you're in
Exactly. So I don't know. Like, I feel when I've been in these certain places in my life and I've overcome, like at a certain time I would say I was sad, or I was like say I was down, or they would call it depressed or whatever it is. Once I started like building up better habits, clearer mind and stuff, I don't get anxiety attacks, or I don't like get sad. I'm just more of a problems. All right, I feel this way. Like, let's solve the issue to like this feeling. Like, it's very simple. And
True.
when I look back at it, I'm like,
But then again, like, not to go against what you're saying, but like mental health is like so diverse that like it's more than just depression and anxiety. There's people who are actually diagnosed with like schizophrenia or like bipolar disorder, or like things that are like so different where it's kind of like, yo, like it's more
but
than just
you can't fake schizophrenia though. Like, I'm talking about depression, anxiety. These things are like, these are the gray areas where we're talking about faking, right? Like, you can't like having psychosis, like you can't fake that, fam. Like, you're literally seeing shit. Like, you know what I mean? Schizophrenia is like you're literally like paro, fam. You know what I mean? You can't really just, unless you're like you really like to be that guy and really fake. Like, it's hard to really fake those things. But to be depressed and be like, oh, like, yo, Johnny, you're trying to go out, like, like, nah, like, I'm down right now. Like, I'm not dissing anyone. Say that's how anyone takes it. You know what I mean? But it's different.
That's why I'm saying it's so difficult, because like we know the effects that mental issues can have on people, right? And when people learn, it's like when finding out someone died or something like that. The level of concern you have is high, like you're always trying to put them first and da with them, right? But it gets to a point that even though they're dealing with a mental issue, and that mental issue could be chronic, stuff like that.
For sure.
You know they have mental issues, but you can only, I guess, feel fake pity for so long, right? Before you start to get annoyed with those kind of things, right? And I'm not saying it's
genuine.
I'm not saying it's right? And I feel like most people are genuine at first, but after a certain amount of time, I don't think people care as much. So like, if they're seeing an issue and they see someone who's going through some shit, he's like, you're still going through that? Come on, man. We got shit to do. How are you talking about? Or let's say we're at work and the man's has or is depressed or stuff like that, so he can't be efficient with his work. And now you're working with him, and now you're getting a little cheese. Like, yo, I was picking up at the beginning. Come on, I need some help.
Yeah,
I need somebody. I need someone on my back to help me with this thing, right?
I don't think you should have to compromise like how you feel for until they get better. Like, at the end of the day, like, this is the world, fam. It's real, you know.
It's just gonna
like,
keep
you gotta
going.
You gotta keep going, keep pushing. You know what I mean? I personally, I don't know how like mans can get depressed for like. I've had depression for like 15 years. And if it's on the same issue, like, I just don't understand that. I just don't understand.
They're just
it,
stuck.
Maybe
It's
I
like
haven't
you're
been in
thinking.
that place.
It's like you're thinking, like, yo, like, you should be able to find some kind of solution, or at least progress to the point where it can help you, right? But then you'll have people who kind of suppress that because they can't find a solution, so they'll suppress it, and now that brings an internal issue, right? Until they do something that's crazy, and now everyone's feeling bad for them.
right?
No, that's facts.
So it's
Sometimes
like-
they listen to the wrong voices, you know.
Yo, it's just
Because I feel like in everything, like when we're in a sticky situation, like there's always like say you're dead broke, like you can't. You're 8 months deep in your rent, like you literally have to go. Like the sheriff's at your door, like you gotta go type stuff, right? You're homeless. Like at the very anything in the very extreme, like we're talking about gathering your last $5 and making some lemonade and hitting the corner. Like man's would be like, nah, I can't do that. That's crazy. But in the most severe extreme like situation, I know that there's our brain tells us what like how to lay it off or not do it in the moment, and then like there's always a proactive voice, bro. But like he said, like I feel we suppress that voice sometimes, or some people do it way too much that doesn't allow them to even like break the barrier of thinking of like, all right, you know what, like let me actually go outside, let me start something new, like let me go exercise, and you know what I mean,
Yeah, it's
meet
just
new people and stuff like that.
Like I was saying, it's just like they're stuck in that pattern, and it's like they're reliving like the same emotion that's attached to like, you know, like the same anxious or same depressed emotion, and like they're just reliving it, and you get stuck in a loop, in a cycle, and it's just like this constantly. You know what I mean? So like I could understand that aspect, but at the same time, it's like to get unstuck, or to find yourself out of something, you have to like not backtrack, but you have to do some sort of like self like looking in at yourself, looking in within type of vibes, you know, like looking at like your habits, or looking at the way that you process information, or like your emotions, how you react to certain things. You know what I mean? I feel like not that there's a solution for it. Actually, no, I do feel like there's a solution for it. I just feel like because you get stuck in that cycle, it's kind of hard for you to find a solution, or you're not even solution oriented or looking for that. You're just looking to like
Cry.
Yeah,
I think
cry.
there-
Sorry.
Nah,
just
crying
looking
could
to
be
like
something
let
but
the emotion
therapeutic.
go. Yeah,
Like I agree with therapy, but sometimes therapy be expensive.
Nah, for
I
sure.
mean-
30s saying, you know, I was just thinking too. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, how about two people, right? They live the same lives. They literally go through the same challenges in terms. Say they both business owners. Say 1.5 fiscal periods. You know, they get hit kind of hard. They go through the same emotional. You know, say family. It's a rough time with the wife as well. Kids are kind of are out of order. You go through the same things, and you have the one guy who tackles each thing and betters everything, and then you have the same guy who's stuck in the loop of like that cycle Patrick's saying. So things are going good, and then things start going down in the business, and now he's like depressed, and then on top of his wife is shaky with his wife, and then on top of his kids is not, and it's just like like it's so overwhelming on. And then things get better, and then it comes back down again in life. But then you got the other guy who's just rolling with the punches, like he keeps going, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, what is the difference in between those two? And then it's like we're looking at these two people, and then I'm engaging with this person, boom, 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 yeah. And then I'm engaged. It's like now I gotta cater myself to he has this, you know what I mean?
Yo, your beard's stuck in your thing.
Oh, he has this. Like we gotta take it easy on him here and this, but it's like that person say who's doing punching, rolling through the punch, like even that might even be you. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to be like, you know, what if those two guys talk to each other now? But it's like, bro, like
but every individual is different.
It's
though.
different.
You know what
I get
mean?
it.
Like
I
that's
get
the
it.
thing. Like we can't say that like all because that we're able to deal with depression or anxiety better, that like not necessarily that it's invalid, but like if somebody else is experiencing it, like it's them. You feel me?
But I
Like,
mean, in
then
terms
what
of my
should-
response, like my response to that, how I have to maneuver, you know what I mean? Like, how does that justify, like?
I mean, at that point, it's all about who you are as an individual, as a character, and if you actually genuinely care. A lot of people just don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
back to the character.
Like I don't.
You know,
the
like-
thing is, people will hear it the first time and be like, "Oh," or
Right.
"Damn, can I help?" Da 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 da. But if
Yeah.
it comes to the like the thick of it, like people aren't gonna give their last dollar up to this person.
Unless it's
People-
like your family member. Type shit.
People aren't even yo.
unless you have like some sort of like deep connection, it's like to the point where like this person's like somebody who you have a kid with, or somebody who's
something like that.
then it's like a little different, because it's like you feel it, you've been there, so you technically feel it like with them too. But if it's like someone who's distant, like a distant family member that you don't never have a connection with, never had a relationship with, it's very easy for you to be like to fake it for a little bit, and then after a while you're kind of like, bro, like
Yep.
leave me
And I
alone,
think
you
for the
feel me?
most part, it doesn't really affect people because they're not interacting with those people a lot. But it's when you're in a constant interaction, especially when you show up being fake at the beginning, it's hard to be fake for an extended period of time. Because if you're in this, let's say you work together, You know, they work right beside you. They're going through some shit. At first, you're like, oh, da 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 da. But 3 months go by and they're still going through the thing. And
like you're trying to move your office space.
like,
you're
I'm
trying to move
cheesed.
around
I'm cheesed.
At that point,
Yeah.
that's the thing though. There's no bond between you and said individual, so
Mhm.
there's no reason for you to like, you know what I mean, like to not act that way. Like is what I'm trying to say. Like
But
it's
now,
like
but now if a man snaps
Mhm.
and then they pull out they have mental issues, it's a wrap.
Yeah, for you, more times snapping on a person mental is like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what's
you
wrong
do look,
with you?
you do look like a bad person. Like like you don't you don't care about the like mental health and people who are experiencing mental health. But it's like at the same time, it's just context, yo. It's context
Mhm.
and perception. That's what I really believe it is. And so like bringing it back to like people who are faking it,
Yeah.
you know, like using mental health as a defense is kind of like, yo, it ruins it for people who are actually like, you know, dealing with mental health issues. But at the same time, it's all about how people in the court system, like, you know, like how they see mental health too. Because
Mhm.
if you could act out something, and there's no basis, there's no like checklist that you could check off. Oh, he does this.
Yeah.
Check.
Check.
Oh, okay. He actually is, you know,
Yeah.
like mental. It's
There isn't any kind of checklist.
there like not that there's any kind of checklist, but like I'm talking about like in terms of like the person acting.
Mm-hmm.
Like if like for them, I don't think there's any like checklist or anything like that. They're literally just going off of what they think mental health is
Yeah.
like. You know what I mean? Like
So it's per like
that's how
Oh, okay.
I would see them using that as a defense. It's
Yeah.
like they're going off of like, well, what is mental health and what do crazy people do?
Yeah.
So let me just do that so that I can come across as crazy.
mm-hmm.
Is what I'm trying to say. Like to them, it's not like a. But then for somebody else who's looking at mental health and seeing the person who actually has the checklist is like, yo, like this person is actually diagnosing the individual,
Mhm.
like a psychiatrist or somebody who went to school for that. Like for them, it's like all the knowledge they've accumulated over those years, you know, like they'll be able to tell, like, yo, like if they're truly good at their craft and they're
Yeah.
truly good at what they do, which is psychiatry, they'll be able to diagnose whether if a person's being fake or not. You know what I mean? But then it brings it back to like, are you actually gonna bring that person in and pay the dollars to
Who's
to
gonna
see
pay
that,
for
like,
the
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things attached to it. You know, a lot of factors.
Yeah.
It's different,
But
but
that's different. That's different.